Greetings, programs, and welcome to Thumb Wars Presents Blistered Reviews. I'm your host, Sean Cronenfeld, and boy, oh boy, we got a good one for you this time. I'm going to be taking a look at Telltale's latest completed masterpiece, The Wolf Among Us, based upon the popular Vertigo comic series Fables. But before we get to the main action, I thought to celebrate the review, I'd sing for you guys a favorite song of mine. And I've even got the lyrics right here to make sure I get them right. Okay. In touch with the ground, hold on. Hello? Yes? What? But you can't. What? No, I don't want to. Yes. I understand. That was a representative for the Arizona state government. Turns out that they've passed a law making it illegal for me to sing, not just on camera, but period. I'm really hurt by this. I mean, I just cut to the review already.
Everyone has a weakness. You just have to find where it is and push.
People get up to all kinds of things when nobody's watching.
I saw what you did down there. Is that how you treat your prisoners?
Everything's gotten so confused.
I'm dying to hear about the body that came out of the East River this morning.
I got a few questions.
I know why you're here, Sheriff. This is exactly what I would expect from a thug like you.
I want to know. We all want to know. Just what the hell is going on?
Where are you when we ever fucking need you? Beauty!
Beast?
He's never gonna talk if you treat him like a fucking prince.
I said no violence.
2 women are dead.
Please?
I thought I could trust you.
I have a way with people.
So I've heard.
First begun back in May 2002, the Vertigo comic book series Fables has run for over 141 issues to date, while also producing numerous spin-off titles, original graphic novels, and even a prose novel along the way. In short, Fables has become a massive success in the world of comics, and in 2011 it was announced that prolific adventure game developer Telltale would be making their own contribution with an original 5-episode game to be titled The Wolf Among Us. Focusing on one of Fable's most important and popular characters, namely Big B Wolf, aka the Big Bad Wolf of Lore, The Wolf Among Us began its run in October of last year before releasing its remaining 4 episodes across 2014, with the grand finale, Episode 5 Cry Wolf, arriving just a couple weeks ago. So now the question remains, has Telltale's latest effort produced a success worth howling at the moon over, or is it just a case of a wolf in grandma's clothing? The good: story, characters, gameplay, visual style, audio. The bad: graphics. The ugly: I'd say it's a toss-up between the true forms of Jersey and Mary. The Wolf Among Us centers around a New York-based community known, eternally at least, as Fabletown, and it is the secret home to a group of nigh-immortal beings who have become famous in the stories of our world. These figures include Snow White, Old King Cole, Ozma of Oz, Little Boy Blue, and many, many more. These beings, who have taken to calling themselves Fables, traveled to Earth centuries ago after being driven out of their own lands due to the encroaching armies of a mysterious conqueror known only as the Adversary. As Wolf opens, it's decades before the first issue of the comic series proper, 1986 to be precise, and amidst a sweltering summer, growing tensions among the various members of the Fabletown community have left everyone on edge. Into this taut situation walks our hero Bigby, the sheriff of Fabletown, who is simply trying to keep the peace while leaving his troubled and violent past behind. Unfortunately, fate has other plans, and what starts out as a seemingly simple case of a violent drunk soon grows into multiple brutal murders that are just the spark needed to set off the tinderbox Fabletown has become. All too soon, Bigby is left unsure of who he can trust, even as he's sucked deeper and deeper into the tentacles of a dangerous and deadly conspiracy whose slimy grasp threatens the future of all Fabletown. Considering Telltale's past output, it should come as little surprise that The Wolf Among Us features an engaging and highly entertaining narrative that remains true to the property it's based on, while also blazing its own trail as well. Fables the comic, with its seemingly unending cast of characters taken from popular works of fiction from throughout the ages, has long proven it's capable of supporting a wide variety of stories, and so Wolf's noir-soaked affair manages to fit seamlessly into the larger world of the property. Yet by focusing on a period of time that has previously gone largely unseen in the comic itself, Wolf offers something new for longtime Fable fans to sink their teeth into, while also granting newcomers an entry point into the world of Fables that shouldn't leave any of them feeling overly confused or aggravated. Wolf brilliantly walks this line throughout all 5 of its episodes, and I fully expect many a new reader to get drawn into the comic as a result. The first season of Telltale's The Walking Dead saw the developer really embracing the idea of player choice in a way that their previous titles had not, and Wolf both continues this and takes it even further. Now, to be clear, this is not to say that Wolf features a story with hundreds of diverging points, or a dozen different endings or the like, although there are some key moments where players can change the details of exactly what happens. Still, ultimately, all players are going to see more or less the same beginning, middle, and ending in Wolf, no matter what choices they make, which is only sensible considering the game is a linear and completely story-driven affair. Choice in and of itself is meaningless, in my opinion. Choice in a game shouldn't just be about unlocking this ending or that ending. Giving you a choice in a video game should be about role-playing. And I don't mean the kind that goes along with dice, or stats, or taking turns, or armor and equipment. In the same way that choice in the Mass Effect games allowed me to create a unique version of Commander Shepard I could truly bond with, so too does Wolf succeed at letting me feel like I'm genuinely embodying the character of Bigby. The nature of Wolf and its story may mean that all players will end up at the same endpoint, but the choices they make will shape the details of the journey along the way, especially in terms of Bigby and his hopes, fears, and desires. To me, that is far more meaningful than simply including a branching ending for its own sake. And keep in mind that Wolf's story was always going to be constrained by being a small piece of a much larger pre-existing narrative. The genius of Telltale is in how they take what could have been a weakness and turn it into a strength. And indeed, Episode 5 of Wolf ends in a way that highlights just how impactful a player's individual choices really were. Wolf presents a strong overall narrative that, among other things, offers players a genuine whodunit murder mystery to be solved, and in the last episode even challenges them to prove they've reached the proper solution. If they get it wrong, there's no real consequence in terms of gameplay or story, but it's still a nice small touch all the same. In terms of gameplay, once again Telltale continues to refine their particular approach to the adventure game genre, and the result is their strongest work to date. Episode 5 in particular features an amazing final showdown that stands as one of the best boss fights, for lack of a better term, that I've encountered in a game this year, and that was not something I was expecting to say about a Telltale game. This is not to imply that Wolf ever becomes a straight-on action title, but there's usually at least one dramatic encounter per episode to help keep things moving at a brisk pace. Beyond this, the game features the usual mix of environmental exploration, character interaction, and light puzzle solving that fans of Telltale games have come to expect. Unlike The Walking Dead Season 1, which could feel like an interactive movie more than a game for long chunks of running time, Wolf strikes a better balance between gameplay and storytelling, and the game is the stronger for it. Unfortunately, once again graphics end up being a Telltale game's Achilles heels, thanks to the developers' continued insistence on using the same now woefully out-of-date engine that they've been employing for nearly a decade. Look, I understand it can be no small thing to switch engines, and that for all the company's success, Telltale is still ultimately an indie studio with limited funds to throw at a problem like this. However, at this point, the age and limitations of the engine have gone from a mild annoyance to an outright major flaw, and it's a problem that desperately needs to be dealt with. It's especially a shame since Wolf otherwise features truly amazing art design that does an expert job of translating the visual style of the comic into a 3D world. Similarly, action scenes really have a spark to them that past Telltale titles have never come close to achieving. More so than any of their previous games, it's clear Wolf is straining against the limitations of its engine, which in turn leads to New York streets that feel woefully empty, for example, or the fact that each episode strictly limits players to a handful of locales, despite a game that seems to cry out for greater freedom to explore and soak up the world of its setting. Telltale is only growing more ambitious with each success, and as such, they need technology that can keep up. Beyond this issue, the rest of Wolf's production values are top-notch, with another terrific score and a strong cast of voice actors, including a few much-loved performers from past Telltale titles, expertly bringing their characters to life. So overall, you could definitely say I'm a big fan of what Telltale has done with the Fables license. I just think it's a better game overall than The Walking Dead, because I think Fables is a better property than The Walking Dead. And I hope we get another season. And there's so many possibilities. If you've never read the Fables comic, it jumps all over the place. The first few arcs do deal primarily with Snow White and Bigby, and is set modern day, comics been around for a while, but at least 20 years after where the game takes place. And by then, their personalities have settled down, they've changed some, but eventually the comic expands and we find out who the adversary that drove them out of the homelands was. And a lot more characters get introduced, and we get whole story arcs set away from Fabletown, set in different places and different times. And I feel like there's a lot of possibilities for a follow-up game. I mean, look, if we get more Bigby and Snow, that'd be great. But there's a lot of other great characters who could also easily support a season. If you want to see something really enjoyable, go find out what Cinderella is up to in the world of Fables. You won't be disappointed. And actually, looking up her first starring role will also give you a bit more closure on Ichabod Crane. But I won't say any more than that for fear of spoilers. Overall, Telltale has shown themselves once again to be masters of their craft. I'm not as excited for the Game of Thrones games because I'm not as excited for the license in general. I've read the books, they never caught on with me. I don't watch the show. Yeah, sacrilege, but it's a well-made show. It's just not my cup of tea. But I'm very much looking forward to the Borderlands game. It's a terrific series. It has to be if it's won me over, because I am not an FPS fan in general. And I'm very excited for a more story-focused game in that universe. And I know Telltale's going to nail it. And with the brilliant boss battle of sorts in Wolf Among Us' final chapter, I also think that they can probably do a good job of capturing the essence even of the Borderlands action. So I think there's a lot of reasons to be excited for that game. And I think that would also be nice to see a universe which, for all of its darker elements, is ultimately probably more colorful and hopeful than something like, say, The Walking Dead. Honestly, The Walking Dead Season 2, I'm not going to do a full review of that game. It's well made, but I just can't get into it. I've played all the chapters so far. It's hard for me to care at this point about anything that goes on in that franchise. And although I kind of hope we never see a Season 3 for them, just because I'd love to see Telltale move on to bigger, better things. But we will see. Wolf is a title that can serve as a strong introduction to one of the best fictional universes created in the last few decades, while also including plenty of clever callbacks for fans of said universe. Filled with interesting ideas, complicated multi-dimensional characters, equal parts humor, drama, and horror, and a damn near perfect final episode, The Wolf Among Us is a strong contender for the best game of 2014, even if it did technically release its first episode in October of last year. Here's another genuine masterpiece from Telltale that any gamer worth their stripe owes it to themselves to play. Score, 9 out of 10, must own. Recommendation, buy it now. And that's going to wrap it up for this week. I want to thank all of you, as always, for joining me. Look forward to another episode of Unrepentant Geeking this weekend, where I'll be taking a look at the first episode of the new Persona 4 golden animation, and also reviewing a book series you've probably never heard of by the name of Anachronauts. But trust me, once you see my review, hopefully that will change. For now, for Thumb Wars and That Guy with the Glasses, I'm Sean Cronenfeld, wishing you all happy gaming.